Introduction, page 13. Introduction. What are you struggling with? Where are you suffering? Would it be all right with you if life got easier? I'm Aliza Bloom Robinson, vibrational catalyst, and my commitment is to help make your life easier and end your suffering. I've been a minister for over 16 years and walked with people through their journeys from the darkest despair and agonizing heartbreak into their highest joyous celebrations. Life is meant to be good. We are here to make manifest the glory of our essence, to bring forth the love and the light that is inside each one of us. In order to do that, we have to surrender, dissolve, and otherwise eliminate the dark through this elimination. We can do that and end the struggle and eliminate suffering as we know it, opening the way to a life of greater ease. I'm so glad you are here. Since you are, I'm going to make an assumption about you. Now, I know assumptions are often incorrect, but here it goes anyway. I'm guessing that life is going pretty well, and that you would tell anyone you meet that your life is good. Things are not bad. Nothing is terribly wrong, but you are carrying a deep, dark secret. One, perhaps, that you haven't even told yourself. That is, you want more. You want more something. Maybe you can't even quite name it, but it is there, this little nudge, an impulse, a nagging discontent with how things are. Then you beat yourself up, because really, it is not that bad. I know, because I was that person. I had a good life. I had reached most of my dreams and career goals. I lived in a fun city, had a wonderful relationship, made decent money, and had great friends. Everything was going along just fine. Then one day, I woke up with something, like a dust cloud over my vision, like a blah had settled over me. At first, it was nothing much. Then it began to build. What is this? I thought. Where did this come from? Over the course of a couple of months, I went from being on top of the world to hanging out in the ditches. It was crazy making. Maybe you have experienced something similar. Because I've spent my entire adult years on a spiritual path, a continual journey of awakening, I became curious. But not before everything fell apart. My work shifted subtly. My relationship became a bit more distant. I was feeling discontent. So I hired a coach to help me see what was happening inside of me. I discovered that even though my life was fine, it was not deeply fulfilling, and I wanted more. There was more for me to do and be. The yearning was for a deeper contribution, more purpose, more passion, more connection. The quiet yet dark cloud of discontent was calling me to not settle for what was, but instead to go for what was possible. What is the reason you picked up this book? What is calling you? What in your life is ready for an upgrade? What area in your life has worked beautifully in the past, but is not its most effective now? Just like when our computers needed upgraded. When you bought that brand new computer a few years ago, it was the top of the line, but now it's old, slow, and limited compared to what's available today. Uplevel your life. Read along to make the upgrades in your experience to release suffering and struggle and create the life you love. We all know there is immense suffering on the planet. It comes in many forms, from the poorest, hungry, diseased, orphan children in third world countries to the hungry and homeless in our own backyards. It shows up in violence, hatred. It shows up in lack and limitation. It shows up in politics and government. It shows up with disease and tragedy. When we or a loved one gets a medical diagnosis or someone dies. Given that suffering happens, how can I propose to end struggle and eliminate suffering? The end of struggle and suffering happens first in your own mind, heart, and experience. When we end individual struggle, we can help eradicate global suffering. This is what this book is about. The end of suffering, release of struggle, and the clarity and pathway to live the life you love. It is, in a sense, a guide to enlightenment. The first step towards healing or shifting of anything is the acknowledgement and acceptance of it. The world suffers. There is suffering in the world. Let us acknowledge it. Let us accept it. Then let us move on to a new experience of ease. A word about acceptance. Acceptance is not the same as condoning or supporting. It is a simple yet powerful principle that eliminates the resistance to a thing that is. Accepting is the first step in spiritual growth. What is the truth about you? We will deal with the world later, but for now, what's going on with you? What would you love to see change? What is your story about why you don't have what you want and why you can't have what you want? Let's take a look. What is the place in your life that has a little blah hanging over it? Especially that place you think you can't change. Perhaps it is a job situation that you think you can't leave for X amount of years. Perhaps it is a child or parent challenge that seems to be hovering over you. Perhaps it's money or lack of. Perhaps you know you are called to something different, but have a zillion reasons why you can't answer that calling. Or maybe you've gotten a diagnosis that has tripped you up. What is it that you're struggling with or suffering through? Choose one. You can make a list, but let's focus on only one thing at a time. Look for the deepest one, the core underlying belief that is keeping you stuck where you are. Are you willing to dive in? Are you willing to look, see, tell the truth, and take authentic action? Are you? If so, read on. If not, that's okay. No judgment. Read on anyway, and maybe something will jump into your awareness that will end your suffering.